everyone, to another episode of the Black Create Connect podcast, where I speak with some of the most influential, some of the most powerful, inspiring Black entrepreneurs and professionals. And today, I'm so scared I'm going to say the name wrong.
No, it's okay. Go for it.
I have Franklin Boateng.
Boateng's fine.
Boat-
Boateng is like
Boateng.
No, you know, in the Ghanaian way is Boateng, but it's fine. It's all right.
Boateng, and he's literally a legend. I feel like you're a legend because he's one of the first social media influencers in his game to get over 100,000 followers on Instagram. He's the founder of King of Trainers. You have 2 books, don't you?
5
books.
Audiobooks.
Okay, audiobooks. 5 audiobooks. My bad. Sorry, I saw 2.
It's okay. It's okay.
Bad. But yeah. So 5 books. TEDx Speaker as well. Give it up. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. What introduction? I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for coming on, by the way.
Oh no, anytime.
I appreciate it. What made you agree? I'm interested to know because I'm sure you get approached all the time.
Well, you know what it is. I think we met at the event.
Box Park.
Box Park. Correct. I keep remembering. Yeah. So the Black in Tech event, right? And you approached me. You were enthusiastic, and you were just on it. And I like that. And with me, I'm very, because I do get approached a lot. I'm like, okay, let me get things done quickly, because I know if it drags on, sometimes I just get busy. So let me just get things done quickly. And I was like, yeah, can we do as soon as possible,
well, thank you, I appreciate it.
No, it's okay, anytime.
So I guess kind of like talking about where you're at the moment. I've seen that you've just worked with Stormzy on his. So the
Stormzy thing is because everyone's hitting me about that. Okay. I helped I helped Averex come back to the UK in the sense that I opened a shop with Averex as a partnership. Okay. A man is someone I respect, and he said, Frank, I need a white Averex for the Stormzy video. This was a while back, actually, before the video came out. So I knew about it a while back. They shot the video. We gave him the jacket. I shot the video. And then literally, like, the video came out, what was it, last week or something like that? And then it started going crazy because his cameo in it was just so significant. White bowler hat, white Averex jacket, umbrella. And it kind of went viral to some extent. Like, people got in.
Sick.
Yeah, people going crazy about that.
How did you connect?
Mega.
How did you get that connect?
With Averex.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, through the King of Trainers, I designed a pair of Alicia trainers, and I remember having a meeting with one of the directors, and he's like, "Oh, Frank, like, we're buying Averex." Like, I'm like, "Yo!" Like, I lost it. I lost it in the meeting, and I was like, yeah, like, this was meant to be, and then he asked me, like, what should we do? We want you to help us with it. And I said, okay, cool, man. Let's get some jackets for my other shop in Box Park, retro store. And then from there, he was like, no, you know what? Let's just open a shop with you. Let's let's go.
Where's the shop based?
The shop is in Box Park, Shoreditch. Yeah, so Unit 20 Box Park, Shoreditch. We have an Averex shop there, yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah, it is.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's really dope.
That's big.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have all these accolades, and I know that you've right now you're working with probably some incredible people. I want to kind of get into the background of you, like how you started. I know you grew up in Tottenham.
Yes.
But you're Ghanaian. Were you born in Ghana?
No, I was born here.
Okay. So tell me, in regards to your upbringing, what were you into when you were a child, when you were like growing up as a teenager?
Okay, a teenager or before the teenager? I don't know. Like, well, as a young child, I was always into trainers. I was always into trainers. Okay. I was always into entrepreneurship. My mum used to buy me like Matchbox cars for like £1, and I saw them in the playground. Like,
which one?
Matchbox cars. See, that's what I'm saying. I've got. we're taking this. It's way back. So for the more mature listeners, everyone knows what Matchbox cars were.
Okay.
So they were like these little replica cars, and they were like Matchbox cars, and they were in little boxes like about that big. Yeah. And my mum used to get them like for like £1. I used to resell them and stuff like that. So
in school, you used to resell them.
Yeah, I used to resell them in school. Yeah.
What triggered you to want to like make money? Was it just that you didn't have any, or did you see something that you liked? Like, what was the reason?
No, you know what? My parents worked really hard. I was just very into business from a young age. I don't know what it is. I was very into business from a young age, and that's what, I don't know what it is. I think it's just seeing my parents work hard, and my we just like nice things. That's what me say.
Did you grow up rich?
No. By no means did I grow up rich in any way, shape, or form. My mum worked really hard, and my dad worked really hard. And I grew up in a time when it was one pair of trainers a year, and I grew up in Tottenham, and for me it was just kind of knowing that you have to take care of your things. You know, obviously as a young boy, you might mash up your things, then you get in trouble for it, innit? So then before you know it, you mash up, you fall down, you get a hole,
used to be like,
bust a hole.
Take Vaseline, use that on your kickers.
All of that. Yeah. So I wasn't really, so I got, in the early age of my life, I got into taking care of my items. Like make sure I'm cleaning them, make sure I'm preserving them. And then by doing so, it made me have more respect for what I own. So, you know, part of the whole King of Trainers stories is my mum, you know, loved tennis. She loved Boris Becker, who had an Les clothing deal, a Puma footwear deal. And then she actually went out to find the Pumas that I was wearing, that he was wearing when he won the championship in '85. And from there, it was just it's all systems go. But I always was in love with business, fashion. I don't know. It was just the thing. My sister inspired me as well. She was really heavily into fashion as well. And yeah, it's just, I was always like, I don't know. I've been an entrepreneur since
from
a kid.
young.
From young, yeah.
So when you started to, I guess, build your fascination with trainers, first of all, what's the first pair of trainers that you bought?
The ones I remember are the ones my mum bought me. They're like a pair of Pumas that she thought were the Boris Becker Pumas. This was when I was about 5 or 6. Those are the ones I remember. I've actually got a picture of me in them. From back then. And from there, me personally, my own money, I think the first pair I bought was either, it could be a pair of Nike TWs, that was like in '89, or a pair of classics.
In '89, you said?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Before I was born.
I know, I'm an old man, innit? I'm a bit.
So where did your fascination with trainers come from? Like, what was the reason?
It was like, so for me, you know, it was, I mean, I would say music in some respects, but I was that kid that was just, I don't know. My mum would buy me nice trainers. And then by me getting compliments on my trainers, like, oh, Frank, your trainers are nice. You're the king of trainers. I think that kind of led me on to love trainers. And then through my teenage years, I used to go to the States every year. Basically, growing up in Tottenham in the 90s, it was a bit crazy. And my mum would send me to New York or Toronto. And back then, if you buy a pair of trainers from like anywhere,
I remember. Yeah,
it's imports and everything, import. And you know, I think the compliments gave me the fire. Do you get what I mean? Because I'll come back with like a nice pair, and then like the older kids would be like, "Right, where'd you get that? Oh my god!"
So that was it. Was the feeling of like people,
the fire, and and then, but I was just, I don't know, I was just in love with trainers. I was that kid that would get, you know, after summer holidays, you have to go with fresh fit, fresh trainer. I would literally sleep with my trainer on the pillow. I was that kid.
You had your trainers on the pillow?
Yeah, I was that kid. I'll be, you know, like I was just so in love with trainers. I was so in love with trainers. Like just, you know, oh my God, I'm going to wear these. And I think it was more I know I'm going to compliment on this. You know what I was like, I know it's really shallow, but.
It wasn't even for yourself, it was just for compliments.
I know. Like, I was like, yeah, it was shallow. But that kind of spurred me on, and that led me to kind of where I am now.
Okay. So in regards to, I guess, when you started to use that love for trainers and use it as an influence,
yes.
When did that journey start?
Well, before social media, I mean, I always say I'm an influencer's influence, right? Because before social media, on the quote unquote streets, like I was influential, like in terms of like my college times. I'll be like going to college. I was like probably the first person. Well, we debate this, but I say I was the first person in my age group with an Averex jacket, right? Like when I was 17, I spent like £500 when I was 17 on an Averex jacket, and then I went to a college called Sir George Monarch's College in Walthamstow, and I remember wearing it there on like maybe like the Monday, and the whole college was like, "Oh my God, look at he's got an Averex jacket." It was such a big thing. And then literally by the next week, 4 guys went and begged their parents for money and got them a jacket. Like literally the next week, It was so crazy. The next
So you were
week,
a trendsetter.
I believe so. I believe so. But it was for back then. See, now it's different, right? A lot of people buy things and they want the same things other people. For us, it was about, oh, I'm the only one that needs to have this.
Yeah.
It's individualism. Now it's like, oh, have you got the new Yeezys? And if you haven't, you're not. Oh, how come you ain't got new Yeezys? Like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So back then it was individualism. So that kind of started, and then using it in the social media aspect, from like MSN, the email days where email was just fresh, you email everyone. I was sending pictures. Me and my friends, we've got like email strings of me sending our pictures through email and MSN
Do you have
Messenger.
that today?
I still have some. I think I still have a string. I'm gonna see if I can find it. We've got a string of us sending pictures to each other through MSN Messenger and email, of just like going back and forth, battling trainers and stuff like that. It was crazy back then. We're talking like years, like 15
But you were
years.
so young. So where did you get the money from to be buying all of this? Okay,
Well,
never mind.
okay. I was
never mind.
I was a businessman when I was younger. So yeah, no,
Yeah, life. Okay, all right, no worries. We'll skip on to that.
No, it's fine. I was buying and selling trainers. I was reselling trainers before trainers were reselling.
Do you know what? It makes a lot of money. My little cousin does that right now.
Yeah.
He makes more money than me, and he's like 20.
Oh yeah, no. The reselling game is big, but I was doing it. I was literally buying and selling trainers in the 90s. So I was making money off the exchange rate. And back then, now, I mean, everyone's seen the exchange rate drop. Like, it's the pound and the dollar's like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But back then it was 2-to-1. So I would literally buy trains from my friends at like $100. They'll give me £100. They keep the chain, so I make between maybe $30 to $50.
Well, did you have like a link in the States that you were? Like...
No. When I would go every summer. When I go every summer,
when you went, you just bought everything.
And then brought it back. Yeah. I've got a picture that when he's post up about that, like of me with a whole bunch of like products. That's so
smart.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of kids probably go back in summer to whatever countries. Whether it's, I went back to Jamaica every single year.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was nothing I could have bought back in summer.
Oh yeah, for sure, from Jamaica, indeed.
Was it in that mode?
No, yeah. I think you know what it is. Because growing up, it's just something used to put the battery in our back to hustle. Like a lot of my friends were just into just hustling, just making money. Yeah, from really young. So kind of.
You were doing that in college. You were kind of the, stylish guy. Everyone's all looking at Franklin. Looking nice. And then social media came about.
Indeed,
and I saw that you created your own kind of social media blogging platform as well.
Indeed, yeah.
Tell me about how you got to that point of creating that and why you even created that in the first place.
So I had so straight out of university, I studied visual communication and graphic design, and I kind of knew I wasn't gonna pursue that because I done a stint at an advertising agency called BBH. Bertel.
Oh, you worked at BBH?
Yeah. Oh, you know about BBH?
Yeah, I used to work for WPP.
Oh, okay. You know about advertising. Yeah. Okay.
So I know the.
You know.
You worked at BBH back then as well.
Back then, yeah.
Wow.
02, it was 02 or 3. Yeah, about 02. About 02. And
what was that like for you?
Yeah. You see. So look, I was very fortunate enough to kind of help out with some projects.
Yeah.
I was working with a black producer. I forgot her name. She's a female producer back then.
Was it Mel? No. Mel?
Is it Mel? She has low hair, like very low cut hair. She's a lot older than us. Like, she's probably.
I don't know. It could be anyone.
Yeah.
Only reason why I say Mel because I know she's big in like film and advertising, and I worked with her.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I worked. So when I worked there, I was like, interviewing a lot of people, and I feel, I kind of knew, like, I wanted to, I kind of knew that I didn't want to do that, if that makes any sense, through just interviewing the way they treated people, if that makes any sense in advertising.
What do you mean you was interviewing a lot of people?
Oh, a lot of people within the company to see what I wanted to do, where I wanted, the position I wanted to go.
So you were just doing your own discovery.
Yeah. And then I think what it was, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, so one of the young men, he had to change my life. So a lot of the advertising agencies, they take like teams of creatives, right?
Yeah.
And then each team has to work for a number of projects and stuff. But in BBH at the time, is they would take a team of like 10, two, a copywriter and a graphic designer, and then the gentleman I interviewed, he was one of the team, and I said, so, oh, how is it? Like, I'm like, you know, this is one of my dream jobs, etc., etc. And then he says, oh, I'm not officially employed. We're not employed yet. So he basically was working there on major projects for a whole year. And after that year, they'll choose one of the teams.
He's a freelancer.
Well, he's not freelance. He was actually there. Like, it was like I would say like an internship for a whole year. And then they get a job after that year of working for a whole year.
Okay.
He was 27 at the time. I was in my early 20s. And I said, how do you make money? He said, oh, my wife looks after me and they give me £50 a week for travel.
That wasn't paying him?
Yeah, I don't even know if that was legal back then. That was early 2000s
at the time.
Oh yeah. It's early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was like, because the amount of jobs, how do I say, the amount of jobs for the amount of graduates, because it was like 200,000 graduates every year for design at that time, and there's only 2,000 jobs, so it was very sought after to get a job, especially BBH, one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world, and then he changed my life, because when I heard that, I was like, I'm young. I mean, look, when I was young in my early 20s, I was doing okay. So I'm driving cars to school, and I mean, like, so I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I'm a man. I can't get taken care of like this. I'm like, what's going on here? So that kind of changed my life. And then from there, I kind of knew I wasn't going to go into advertising. So I remember working part-time at a company called Powerhouse Fitness. And this company, Powerhouse Fitness, got taken over by another company called sorry. I was working at Body Active, then it got taken over by a company called Powerhouse Fitness. At Body Active, I was the mail order manager, doing the mail order. I had my own department, I had my own office, everything. And then this big company took it over. They moved, it was a Scottish company, so they moved all the business up north in terms of the mail order stuff. And I was left with kind of like, oh man, I have to move. They said, oh, you can go and work on shop floor. This means, nah, man. I had my own office. I was in my early, I was chilling. So then, oh yeah, we need someone to do like the deliveries and installations for the south of England. So then I set up a company to just do that for them. And that's when I kind of had one of my big breaks in business. I was making quite a bit. How old were you then? I was 24, 25. Okay. Yeah, 24, 25, something like that.
And you just set up a company and it just ran?
Yeah. But prior to that, I had me and my friends, we invested in property as well. So
in your early 20s?
Yeah, I bought my first place when I was 23.
That's incredible. And the money, and most of the money came from trainers?
Yeah, working and trainers and stuff. Okay. Just stuff. Yeah. So I bought my first place when I was 23. Actually, I started the process at 23, and it was 23. Yeah, I was 23. Yeah. I started the process at 23.
Where in?
I bought in Southend. Me and my friends, we bought 2 places in Southend.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So from a young age, you were just focused. I was
very Indeed. I was really on business. I mean, so I had a lot of different, but saying that, I always call myself like the broke millionaire, right? And I know it's not the best thing to say. So my whole thing when I was younger is I wanted to be a millionaire before I was 30. And I'd done it by the age of probably 26 in terms of property values and the property I had and businesses that I had. And then I nearly went bankrupt by 28, because the life was a bit wild. Do you know what I mean? So when you're young and you're making money and just, and I was making money, but I was also working flat out as well and burning myself out and things like that. Yeah.
How did you accumulate that level of wealth by 26?
Property wise, yeah. So I bought a few properties. By the age of about 26, I had about 5 properties.
And you're making money from those properties, like renting them out?
Yeah, renting them out. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Did anyone guide you on this, or did you just do your own?
Nah, just me and my friends. I bought a few books. I did go to a few of the like property seminars. They do these property seminars around London and stuff. I went to a few, learn and stuff. But we were just on it. We were just on it.
I love that.
Thank you.
And I hope it inspires anyone else that's listening out there to, especially young, just use your money wisely, please.
Indeed. And I think that's what it is, because I did live the quote unquote high life, partying all the time and stuff. But then I did also invest well when I was young.
You clearly did. If you had 5 properties by 26.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. So, social media then, when did you first Hold on, what was the first social media app that you used? 'Cause I remember Bebo.
Oh, MSN.
Wasn't Bebo or Pixo?
Nah, it was before. It's MSN Messenger.
Was MSN before Pixo and Bebo?
I don't even know. I think it could have been MSN Messenger was. I think that's one of the first ones.
Okay.
Then you had different ones like Black Chat and all these different other ones.
Black Chat.
Yeah, Black Chat.
I'm not that young.
You're a Black Chat. Yeah, but that was a bit after. But yeah. So I was on MSN Messenger. Even before then, there was forums.
Okay.
So you had the forums, like you had like in the sneaker world, you had Crooked Tongues forum. In the hip hop world, you had the loud.com forum. Yeah. You had different forums, and I was on a few forums, and then from there I kind of, because I had my business at the time of Facebook. I'd done Tumblr and all that, but I had my business at the time that Facebook was out, and I really wasn't on Facebook that heavy, if I'm honest. And then after I took a hiatus from like work in terms of my working physical, I started to learn how social media makes money. Like from like, I think it's about 2008-ish times. I started to learn how social media makes money, like properly, the real.
So like how did you learn that?
I was just diving into the internet like really heavy, because basically all this thing about Facebook selling your data and stuff, that's been happening from the beginning. That's been happening from the beginning of the internet. People don't know this. Like, it's been happening on the internet, and I learned about that. You know, like the way it makes money. So I was like, oh my God, I want to build my own social network. So that's kind of what gave me the kind of spear to build my own social network. And during that time, there was like BBM Messenger and all that, right? And I remember my social network before, when I started it, it was gonna be called the bbmnetwork.com, right? And the reason why I said a BBM network, because what BBM Messenger do is it would just have the message, but then people wanted to link up. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give you like a bigger forum to link up. And then I was thinking about, I was like, oh, maybe I might get, even though BlackBerry BBM, I don't know if it was trademarked. So I was like, oh, maybe let me just make it more about myself. So now I call it Fab's Network, Franklin and then Boateng's network.
Oh,
yeah, so Fab's my initial. Yeah.
I thought Fab stand for like fabulous or something.
Yeah, no, it was actually my initials. People don't know that. Fab is my initials. Yeah. Okay. So then it was Fab's network. So I built like a social network that was like Instagram. How Instagram is now, I built that online.
Well, with the pictures and everything.
Yeah. So with pictures, so the online, it was pictures, videos, everything. And then you have your own little page with all your like literally, it was like that online. I've got screenshots of it somewhere. And yeah, I had that for a couple of years from about 2000.
Wait, can I just ask you?
Yeah.
Did you create that yourself, or did you like hire out a team?
No. So yeah, I found a company that built social networks, and I worked with them, and I learned how to code a little bit. So I kind of built it they hosted it, and I built the front end and stuff. Okay. Yeah. So they hosted all like the forum size and the thing and stuff, and I was paying quite a bit of money a month for it. But it it did really well. I had about 5,000 members. I was getting like 1 million hits a month. I was doing really. I was getting there.
How did you grow it? Because it's one thing to create it. And I've got a friend that he just made a social media app right now, and I think one of the things that we're thinking of is like how you get people on it. At
that time, the reason why I actually even called it Fab's Network, because I was outside. Like I was.
You was that guy.
Yeah, I was at every networking event. Okay. I was at every event. I was handing out my flyers. I really was promoting the hell out of this thing, and it just started to, and then people saw what it did. Like it was like a creative social network. People can display their work. It was like a real nice forum, and it was different from the normal Facebooks and stuff. And it was just nice, cleanly designed, and it was that come up. Like I mean, Jamal Edwards had SBT at the time. Posty and Pierre had Grime Daily at the time, and I was doing my little thing. I wasn't as big as them, but I was trying to create my own content. I was really kind of invested in just growing it. And back then everyone was outside just flyering, networking. Yo, join my social network, boom, boom. And I just had people join. And it was really good. And I would just post the latest news, like all the little blogs. And my sister had her blog on there. And it was just a good period. Unfortunately, I had that from probably about 2008 to 2011-ish. And it got hacked by, I don't want to say by who, but I think it got hacked by a big social network.
So what happened? It just shut down?
No, it got hacked. It was like it was just malfunctioning. Like it was just bugs and just all these different things were happening.
There's nothing you could have done to prevent it? Or
yeah, I was, but it was way beyond my knowledge level, if I'm honest. And even the company I was using, they were like, we don't know what's going on here.
Really?
I feel that a big company saw something I was doing and they just joined it and started putting bugs on the system and stuff like that. So it kind of, you know, it was freezing. It wasn't loading up properly. It was just horrible.
That's crazy, because that could have blown up
It could
even
have
more, like, especially now.
For
Black
sure.
owned as well. That would have been sick.
Yeah, Fab's Network, man. It's, you know, part of me kind of is like, oh man, but you know, from that. So what I did from that is I used my Twitter, my Fab's Network Twitter, to promote everything I was doing on that social network,
right?
And then that gave me notoriety on Twitter. You know, I got to 10,000 followers on Twitter, and then what people do is they'll pay me to come and Twitter blog at their events.
I saw that, and I was like, I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah. So I called myself the Twogger. I know it sounds offensive, but it's not. It was a Twitter blogger. Yeah, the Twogger.
Hey, it's Franklin, he's a Twogger.
I'm a Twogger. Yeah. So I was a Twitter blogger. So yeah, I used to do Hackney Empire. So all the events at Hackney Empire, like the comedy events, I'll be there with and I'll just be tweeting it, and it's like going, and people retweet, and it, like, I was social commentary at Twitter. So even the Tottenham riots,
I was
the one that that started Tottenham riots hashtag as well. So I was just like Twitter, like on crazy on Twitter. Like crazy.
So what do you think it was about your tweets? Because sometimes, professional moment, I tweet something and I think this is gonna blow.
Yeah, I know. No,
nobody likes it, or no one sees it.
I was very witty. I was very witty with my stuff. I believe I was very witty, and I just came from like a knowledgeable place. You know what it is? I'm always very careful about speaking on things that I don't know.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Right.
But then I will comment in a way where I'm very knowledgeable about certain things that I'm commenting about and stuff. And I'll use my Twitter I met so many wonderful people. I've got friends today who I met just through Twitter.
From Twitter as
well. Yeah. Lifetime friends from Twitter.
Do you know what? I'm so glad you've said that, because my day-to-day girlfriends think I'm crazy because I meet friends on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram all the time, and they think I'm mad for it. But I'm so glad that you've confirmed that you do that too. So I feel like I'm on the road to success.
100%. 100%.
But okay, cool. So you started that network, you had that network going, and then when did Instagram come out?
Instagram came out, I think 2011, 2010, I believe.
Did you hop on it straight away?
No, I didn't. No. I hopped on it because I went through a little something with JD Sports over the King of Trainers name.
Yes, I remember you said. I wanted to talk about that separately.
Okay.
Can we talk about that separately?
Yeah, do you want to talk separately? We can talk about it separately. Or should I talk about it now, or should it separately?
No.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm glad to ask you about King.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so then and then I jumped on Instagram.
Okay.
I jumped on with my personal account first.
Okay.
Which was a Fabs Network. It was a Fabs Network account. I changed it to Franklin Boateng.
Right.
Thanks to one of my friends who managed to get me the name. And then from there I joined King of Trainers. I remember I joined King of Trainers in April 2020. And then I just said, okay, cool.
So it's only been around for 2 years.
April 2012.
Okay, all right, okay.
2012. My bad. Sorry, I apologize. And I started to go crazy on blogging. I was doing a lot of updates and stuff with that, and then it just started to take off. You know.
So how often were you posting to build that level? And with the type of content?
Yeah. So at the time, the algorithm was about just pictures and posting. You know.
Okay.
And I was doing 20 pictures a day. Yeah, no.
On your page?
On my page, yeah. I know it sounds crazy now, but back then people understood. I was doing about 20 pictures a day.
That's a full-time job.
To some it is, yeah. But I teach social media. I was learning.
Yeah.
So from about 2008, I was learning about social media and things like that. So I started to then teach it. I started my lecturing. So I was lecturing social media from about 2010. And I started doing my own seminars and stuff. It's out there somewhere in the thing. I'll do like seminars with Good Campus and different places. And I started to understand algorithms and stuff. Like everything that's happening now, I was doing that like 10 years ago. So I realized, okay, for me to get this account to where it needs to be posting, I was posting every day. You know, 5 posts in the morning, 5 posts in the afternoon, 5 posts in the evening, 5 posts really late. You know, and that was 20 posts a day. And what I was doing, I was basically looking at a place called Sneaker News. Sneaker News is like the biggest sneaker blog in the world. And they'll get their information probably late at night. So by the time the UK, we're all sleeping. So I'll wake up at 5 every morning, rip their content, and then add a bit of my content.
Smart.
Yeah, add a bit of my content. And then I'll mix the news with stories about myself.
Right.
You know, like back in the day when I used to wear trainers and just about Tottenham and just different things. And then with that as well, I would then, you know, go to events, you know, sneaker events, trainer events, dressed up like a king.
With the crown and the
robe, yeah. And
where did you buy it from? Because I saw a picture. Where did you get this?
No, the robe. Man, the robe I got from a place in Battersea, a costume shop in Battersea.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the crown. The crown I got. Yeah, I've had a few crowns. One of my crowns, a couple of my crowns broke. Yeah.
I'm just processing what you said.
Yeah, costume shop. Yeah.
What made you do that, please?
Because you see, with me, I think outside the box. I realize when you're building a brand, you have to embody your brand, right? So I've always been a king of trains since I was a kid. That's always been my thing. But how would someone else know I'm that person? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a blog. It's social media.
Yeah.
Obviously, my friends know and all that. So what I did is go to these footwear events and I have a crown and a robe, and people be like,
who are you?
Yeah. That's it. So then that gave me more followers and stuff. It also gave me a lot of hate. A lot of people hated on it. But for me, I didn't care. I didn't care. I was going to parties dressed up like a king. I went around New York. I remember I went to New York 2015. And I was walking around New York with a crown on my head. Imagine that New York, you know, with a crown on your head. And then what made me so happy, I know you're laughing.
I'm trying to hold it back.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's hilarious.
What made me happy is some guy was like in an American accent, like proper thick, like American accent, New York accent to be fair. Yo, king of trainers, I see you.
Okay.
And he knew who I said, I know who you are.
So it was working.
Yeah. He said, I know who you are. That's what he said. Yeah, he knew from the States. That gave me a boost. Ooh.
Listen, if you don't see me walking around London with a crown on my head.
You're a queen. That's it.
That's
Do it, man. Let's go.
Empress.
Let's go. Empress. That's what I'm saying, man.
I think that's so amazing.
Yeah. Because I'm not afraid. All this, you people gonna laugh. I don't care, man. You only have one life. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do what I want. When I want, and I'm gonna make it happen.
What influenced that mindset though? Because not everyone has that confidence to just be who they want to be.
Do you know what it is? I think maybe because I've always been in positions where I'm the only one. What I mean by that, for example, my university, I was the only black boy.
What university was it?
Middlesex University. Middlesex University. I was doing visual communication, design, and advertising. So it's like graphics and advertising. Okay. Like out of 70 of us, I'm the only black boy. Do you know what I mean? So I've always stood out somehow. Do you know what I mean? And I've just always just been like, nah, we can do this. I was that friend that I remember, like, I would invite my friends to my house. Oh, what can we do? Like, let's do a saving scheme. Let's buy property. Let's do this. I remember when I was 15.
I love that.
When I was 15, I said, look, this Christmas, let's all use our Christmas money to start a radio station. And my friends, oh no. I was like, nah, come on, we can do it. Let's go. And then it just, you know, I'm always that like friend. That. Always.
Do you know what? People like you are blessings, because I feel like you would help to get the best out of those around you. And those are the same way there can be people that can destroy you. I feel like you're a person that can help grow and nurture people.
I have been told that I do things like that, you know, because I'm not, you know what it is? Life is too short, right?
Yeah.
And what are we really scared of?
Nah, for real.
Do you get what I mean? Like, what is really, do you know what I'm saying? If you're not here, that's it. Like, that's the ultimate. So while you're here, if you want to do something in any capacity, like if I tell you some of the business I've had, you wouldn't believe me. You'd be like, I was a co-owner of an adult men's magazine called Candy Mag UK.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is that like adult?
No, so it was basically like a black FHM. Shout out my guy Kosha. So my one of my good friends, Kosha, he'll take the picture, the photography for me. Okay. Well, for him, it was his actually. He came to me with the concept. He'll take the pictures, and it was like we used to celebrate black women, you know, women of color. We never used to do any nude pictures in the magazine. But it was very suggestive. Okay. And I was the graphic designer on the project, and we had a good run of about, I think, 7-8 magazines.
How did you monetize from it? I wasn't.
We sell it at barbershops.
And they used to buy it.
Yeah. This is way, but this was like 2007, 2008. Yeah.
You have a sense of humor.
Mhm.
So you saw that magazine, you thought, hey guys.
Yeah.
Look at these ladies.
And you know what it is? Shout out to Akuya. I don't know if you heard the British Blacklist. You know British Blacklist.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So Akuya, she was the editor, and she's do some amazing interviews of the ladies. So we never used to delve into. It wasn't sexual.
Right.
It was about. There's women. We had a doctor. We had a musician. But it was just beautiful women. Like it was wicked. It was amazing. I need to throw up a post on my.
What was it called?
It was called Candy Mag UK.
Candy. So if we Google it, we can find it.
You should be able to find some stuff about Candy Mag UK. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one random another business you had.
Indeed.
To surprise me again.
I had a bus company in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a bus. My mum, my sister, my mum and dad. RIP my dad, but we had a bus company in Ghana, from Accra to Kumasi. We had a generator rental company. So in Ghana, a lot of the diaspora countries, they have something called lights off in it. So the actual power, the grid shuts down for maybe about 5 hours. So everyone needs you need your own generator. So we had generator rental company in Ghana. Man, I've had a promotional company. I had a company called Year, which is that was one of my first companies actually. It was a help service for work experience students in the creative field. So people can phone me and I'll show them where work experience is given and stuff like that. So yeah.
So with all these businesses, was this money that you invested in yourself, or did you always get like partners?
No. It's only recently I started getting partners. I mean, apart from my property business, you see with me, I'm always the type of person to pull people up with me.
Right.
I'm doing this, I have a gold investment company, all these different things I will do. I'll be like, guys, this is going to be amazing. Come, let's go. With everything I do, I'm like, let's do this. But sometimes it just doesn't work with other people. Does that make sense? And sometimes you have to do it yourself or just with family, because my work ethic is insane. Do you get what I mean? And I'm not saying it to brag or nothing like that. I just work. Yeah. People are like, Frank, how comes you're on social media a lot? How comes you're able to achieve so much? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I get up early.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what is the formula to what do you think the key factors are? But from the sounds of this conversation, it's because of you and your drive and your success. Is there any other factors that you would say, look, I had this mindset, or this is the practice that I did to really get here?
Do you know what it is? I would say it's consistency.
Okay.
Yeah, I think consistency is the cheat code. We always find, everyone says, oh, how did you do it? And I said, I've just tried to be consistent as possible. Not in just business, but in my attitude to people. I'm not, you see, when you get into this quote unquote industry, so many fake people in it. Oh yeah, just hit me up, I'll hit you back. When you hit me up, did I ignore you?
No, you didn't.
Do you know what I'm saying? I did it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, people have hit me up, sent me DMs. I check my DMs. I'm like, yo, boom, boom, boom. I try to get back to everyone, and I've consistently been like that. People can vouch for me in any level. They can't. No, Frank's always been cool. He's not been weird, funny, and you know what I mean. And then in business, I've just kept on going. I've had some horrible downfalls, but I've been like, I gotta keep going. And my consistency is what's led me to here. I don't give up. I can't be stopped.
So talking of that, now let's go on to King of Trainers.
Yeah.
Like, that's triggered me to think.
Okay.
So JD tried to stop you at some point.
Some point, yeah. Shout out JD Sports, man. They're my guys.
Oh, okay. We're friends now, guys. No, we're friends. Not beefing. Just talking about an experience.
Indeed. So basically, the nickname King of Trainers has been around, like, I would say from about 85, 86, right? As a nickname, right?
To yourself?
For myself, okay. Correct. Yeah, because it was a nickname, a school nickname. It was even like a teasing thing. It was like, oh, you're the King of Trainers. Like, it wasn't. And then in my teenage years, my friends were, oh no, you're not the King of Trainers. It was like that type of thing, right? And then I had a forum on my network, Fab's network, called King of Trainers Forum, where me and my friends, just me locally, we would just talk. Oh yeah, this trainer's coming out of it. I then registered a Twitter. I tried to do a blog back in the day. It just didn't work. The King of Trainers. I just didn't work. I didn't know what I was doing back then. But then I had the forum, and I registered the Twitter, King of Trainers on Twitter. And I would just talk about trainers, and I only had like not even 100 followers. I was just talking about trainers. I just love trainers. Do you know what I mean? And then what happened is one of my old friends, he tweeted, Nike don't just do it. That's unimpossible nothing. Why doesn't JD Sports speak to the King of Trainers? And then added us both in this tweet. And then the JD main account at the time, I think they had 10,000 followers and stuff. And this is like 2011, 2012. They replied back, "Who's this imposter?" What?
That's what the actual account.
Yes.
That's unprofessional.
You know what? I'm seeing it. I want to see if I can find my old phones and see the screen. It was so crazy. They literally, he's this imposter. So because back then, a lot of people I don't think understood what Twitter was gonna do in terms of it was like seen by everyone. What people don't know is JD Sports used to call themselves King of Trainers back in the late 80s, early 90s, right? It was their tagline. Then they stopped using it around about 2003 and went with something called Best of the Best. Rebranded their bags from blue to yellow and all that, right? And then, so they used it as like it wasn't as main heading how it is now. It was like a more sub, like low key thing. But for me, I didn't think I was infringing on anything. I didn't, they have a retail trademark. I didn't think I was infringing. I wasn't trying to be them. I was just an individual, innit? Yeah. So they started to attack me online, and back in those days, if someone had 10,000 followers, it was a big deal. Oh my god, now that's like, you know what I mean? But they were like onto me. You're an imposter. Stop being like proper, like whoever I triggered, whoever was on the social media at the time.
How did it make you feel?
It just made me. I was just confused because I didn't even think it was a thing that I was. Yeah, I was confused. So then after that exchange on social media, what happened as well is because they had a big following and I had a small following. Then their followers saw it and started to attack me as well. So they were trolling me, online. It was crazy, and then they blocked me and my friend, and then we, then 2 weeks after, I get a legal cease and desist from their lawyers, saying you're infringing on our trademark, shut down, or we're gonna go full extent of the law. Do you know that type of talk? But and I've said this many times before. You can't bully me. You can't.
Is that how you felt at the time?
Yes.
Wow, you're strong.
No.
I would have started crying.
No. You can't. I'm cut from a different cloth. But you can't. Yeah. And what I don't like is bullying. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's any need for it. So, very calmly, I wrote back to the lawyers and said, "Hey guys, can we work together?" So maybe I was a bit naive. I was a bit like, "Hey guys, can we work together?" They wrote back, "No, our client no longer, our client no doesn't want to speak to you. You can't work, you're infringing. You've got 7 days or we're taking you filing court papers against you." Okay, cool. So that's game time. So I learn as much as I can. Not everything needs to know. I keep on saying that I learned everything needs to know, but there's a lot more you need to know about trademark law. So I learned as much as I can in 7 days, 6 days actually. Then on the last day, I phoned up their lawyers, big intellectual property lawyers based up north. And I said, "Hey, it's the King of Trainers on the phone." The female lawyer, she was like, "You can't say that." And then I said, "Oh, hold on."
She was in it on the phone.
She was like, "I know." It was someone's head spun. And then I said, "Actually, I can." And then I started to kind of just break down the kind of case studies and just things about what I'm, just the law. The law is the law. Do you get what I mean? Then she was like, "Oh." Because the way they wrote to me was very kind of aggressive. You know how these lawyers are just very, like you said, you would have cried. It would have made a lot of people cry because I'm standing on the fact that I haven't done anything wrong in my eyes. So why are you guys doing this to me? So then they were like, no, the woman was like, "Oh, but if you go to court, don't you understand? You could lose money." And I mean, I was willing to risk it all. Like I had a property portfolio of over $1 million, and I was like, and then she said, so then she started to say like, "But JD, I mean, JD, you can't mess with them. They own everything. They own Size, they own Foot Patrol, they own a lot of brands that are sold within JD Sports. You get me? So when they say they're the King of Trainers, yeah, they are. That's, I mean, in terms of retailers, you can't mess with them. But I feel that I was being bullied, and I didn't want to feel that way. So then she then asked me, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to go to court." She couldn't believe it. She was like, "Because like they're a £1 billion company. What are you gonna do?" Do you know what I mean? Like, And she said, okay, so give me your lawyer's details. And I said, I'm going to defend myself in court. Yeah, on the phone. And it was like, what's this? What's going on here? So I said, okay, I'll wait for your correspondence. So then I think she went back and she must have been like, if we goes to court and this, whoever he is, it's going to be problematic. So I got a letter probably about 2 or 3 months later saying, or even 4 months later, I was waiting, but I was ready. I was ready. I was like, look, the law is the law. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not trying to be JD Sports a shop. I'm just doing my thing, innit? And then they wrote me a letter saying, dear Mr. Boateng, we're no longer going to continue this matter. You're going to close this case, But at that time, but at that time, what people don't know is they launched their campaign. There's only one King of Trainers. They launched it in Tottenham Hill. I think I said this on.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that to me.
So they basically launched a campaign. There's only one King of Trainers, and it was on the side. I remember, like on the side of Tottenham Hill, JD Sports, Tottenham Hill Retail Park. Anyone go there, you'll see it's huge writing. There's only one King of Trainers, and I think over time it must have, that was like 2012, and they launched that campaign. There's only King of Trainers, and they launched Undisputed King of Trainers, Undefeated King of Trainers.
I think that's sick though.
So
for you to influence potentially that campaign.
Indeed.
Wow, okay.
And so when people go there now and they've rebranded, like, so now a lot of their shops, King of Trainers, everything, it's one of those ones where now it's like, hold on, like, and that's when so we had a little kind of spat, and then I think even probably like a year after that's when I reached Instagram. So then when I saw the King Trainers name was still available, I was like, these guys ain't serious. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, and then I started to just go crazy on Instagram and just do my thing and do, and I just was going for it. I was going through it, like, and then God being so good, during like lockdown, they reached out and they said, look, Frank, we want to share your story about King of Trainers on our platform. And I shared my story about the whole thing with them on their platform. Yeah. I'm on Instagram.
That's amazing.
Where we done some content together. And now I work with them.
Look at that. Total 360, 10 years later.
Indeed.
That is so sick. Because they probably respect you as well.
It was they do. I believe so. Like I have contact with a few people in the company.
Yeah.
And they know I work my ass off. And I'm not, you see, a lot of people are doing it for money. They're doing it. I genuinely love trainers.
Yeah, you love trainers, yeah.
I can show you pictures from 30 years ago of me wearing trainers, 20 years ago of me wearing trainers, 10 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, through my whole life, I really love trainers. So, yeah.
Well done, by the way.
Thank you.
Well done. In regards to like your shops, whereabouts are your shops located for anyone to know? And also, when did you launch these?
Okay, so mainly the retail arm of what I do now was launched just after lockdown. So I invested in a CBD franchise called Green Machine.
I saw that. Yeah.
So one of my friends, Sham, he invested in a Green Machine franchise and said, look, I want to buy all of the London shops, right? I want to control all the London shops for this particular franchise. He opened one in Cheshunt. I went to the Cheshunt shop, got something called Muscle and Joint, which we sell, one of our best products. And I gave it to my mum. I used it. My mum used it. She was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Mum's got arthritis, so she used it. It's amazing. And then he literally, I think he opened that store, I think December 2019 or something like that. Then shortly after, coming into New Year, then all this COVID situation and then lockdown happened. Then I think the government wrote to him, and then like the local council wrote to him and said, oh, you guys are a health shop, so you guys can open. He was like, Frank, I was like, yo, like I'm getting a place I'm getting a shop in East London, and then like Retro 2 got wind of it, and he hit like Tariq, who's my French brother, said, oh, can I speak to Frank, like, because I want to get in. And then we all kind of sat down, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So then we done that, and we had such a good launch, and then we now part of the parent company. So we have we have about 7 shops around London, and then we have one in Jersey as well. So yeah,
that's
the CBD
incredible.
stuff. Yeah, so the Green Machine, that was the first one that I was involved in. That's unit 9 box Shoreditch. shortly after that, or during the same time as me launching that, I had have a business called Retro Clothing RXTRO store, and that business it's basically like a kind of, we sell like what we call dead stock tracksuits. So we sell like old Nike from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like we have some incredible pieces.
Where do you find this stuff?
If I told you I wasn't a business.
Look at you trying to get all the secrets.
Yeah, so we sell some real key pieces, all with tags, all brand new tags. Crazy pieces. You need to come down, man.
Yeah, I do.
We sell that, and that's Unit 11, Box Park, Shoreditch.
Okay.
And then after my less collaboration, working with a company called Focus Brands, I love those guys. We partnered up to do the shop.
So who's
the
Focus
Averex shop.
Brands?
Focus Brands is the company that brand manage Averex UK and Europe.
Right.
Yeah. So then they we partnered up, and then we opened Averex, which is Unit 20, Box Park, Shoreditch. So find me Box Park, Shoreditch.
How do you distribute your time? Because you and you're working on campaigns, I'm sure, with companies,
yes,
with King of Trainers as
yes,
well.
Yeah.
So what does your time look like? A typical week?
I'm an early riser.
Okay.
I'm up 5, 6 every day. In the mornings, I'm up. I'm first of all social media. You know, I look at what any DMs, any messages I got. Then I get up. You know, then
You check all of them?
Yeah, I get a lot as well, and I check them all. Because, you know, I've always wanted to. You know, when I said to myself, I don't want to ever be that person that someone says, "Oh, you would do this or you would do that." Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to people please everyone in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not. I definitely don't want to ever be that person that, oh, you didn't get back to me, you didn't, you know. And sometimes I miss things, you know. Forgive me. Do you know what I mean? But you know, but then after that, you know, I'll maybe might speak to one of my business partners. Maybe it could be my guy Tarek from Green Machine. Do we need more stock? Do I need to collect stuff? And you know, and that's like probably on a Monday. Then I'll fly down to the shops for about 11, 12. You know, check everyone's in, check my stuff in, you know, see who's late. I mean, I get there before my staff. More stuff every day, yeah, probably, you know, and I make sure that I'm there before them, so I see who's late and I see who's thing. Yeah, it's not like I'm trying to spy on them, but I'm just active. I love it. I love working hard.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Do you not get tired?
I did burn out in 2008 when I went through. I was working then. I was working a lot harder than I am working now, to be fair. But I love what I do. I wake up every day just.
I can tell.
I love it.
Yeah. I can tell that there's a buzz, and it's inspiring. It's even inspiring me now speaking to you. I'm just thinking to myself, just keep going.
Oh no, for sure. Never give up.
Going.
Consistency is a cheat code.
Yeah.
You know, consistency is a cheat code. Everything you desire will come to you if you're just consistent. You know, what we tend to do, especially as people, we're impatient, right? And we want it to come now.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, you know, but there's things that's happening for me now. I got my first shoe 10 years. Like I'm gonna be, I ain't gonna say my age, but I'm a lot older than a lot of people. Yeah. And I got my first collaboration at this age, and I'm like, wow.
This year?
Yeah, it was, yeah. So I designed them in 2019, and we launched at Selfridges summer in July.
It took about a year.
It took 2 years because I designed 2019. I done the launch, my friends and family launch, my first friends and family launch in 2020, in February 2020. Then they announced my collaboration March. The lockdown happened end of March.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then that's that. So then from there it was like I had to wait until after lockdown, and then, you know, we managed to make it happen.
How sick that is to make your own shoes.
Yeah.
What?
I appreciate that. It's
like crazy. That is amazing. Selfridges.
Yeah. Offspring. Shout out Offspring. They hooked me up.
That's amazing.
There's some space there.
And you because you're a graphic designer, you designed it yourself.
Yeah, I designed it myself. So it was a color palette, really. So it was an LS tanker, and it was basically a color palette. And I was like, and I could have done anything on them, but I just made one shoe dark blue, one shoe light blue, which represents Boris Becker's LS top he was wearing back in '85.
Okay.
Stuff. Yeah, so it was quite crazy.
What is it still available today? Or
it is still available.
Okay.
Yeah, we sold out in Selfridges, I believe. And then now we've got a couple pairs at my retro store in Box Park.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, wicked.
Yeah.
So just to touch on also the social media thing, I know that there's
Mm.
probably a lot of social media, either aspiring influencers or current influencers or people that want to
Mhm.
grow their brand
Indeed.
on social media.
Mhm.
What advice would you give? I know consistency's in there, so we
Yes,
know be
indeed.
consistent, but
Mhm.
I mean, there's creating content and there's engaging with audiences. I know people
Mhm.
that have been posting consistently,
Yes.
decent content,
Mhm.
and their followers still don't grow.
Yeah, so
what is it?
one thing I would say, I have actually got an audiobook about this called How to Get Free Stuff from Brands. It's a clickbait title,
Yeah.
but it tells you about how you build your social network. I feel that a lot of people have to be innovative about their content, but not always rely online. Come offline as well. What are you doing offline to complement what you're doing online? Are you printing flyers about your business? Are you networking about your business?
In today?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Never forget the traditional marketing. We should never forget traditional marketing. Even though we are obsessed with social media and things like that, traditional marketing will always prevail. It will always prevail because when your phone signal goes down and when this happens and that happens, and even like, look, when lockdown happened, even though we couldn't see each other and digital was better, after that, people want to be outside. Do you get what I mean? So I would say, what are you doing offline? Yeah, what are you doing offline? And also look at someone that is successful and be like, okay, what are they doing? What can I do a little bit better? But it does, for every area of business, it takes time. Don't think that, oh, because it's this or because it's that, it's going to be quicker, it's going to be slower. It takes time. And some people, you might see people, because what we do as humans, we look at other people, like, oh man, how come it's going well for that person? And, how come it's not going well for me? But your time is going to come if you're consistent enough.
But what practices should people do to not think that? Because I think, again, with the day and age we live in now, we see all the time, and like, oh my gosh, this person's done this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
Is there any particular practices that people can do to help them stay focused?
Yeah. I know. You see what it is. I can say all the practices in the world, right? It's whether people actually listen. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, guys, make sure you listen, okay? And let us know if you've done it or not.
So for me, it's about, before you get online, having your plan. Like I've said this in one of my books. I said, do a mind map. Does everyone know what a mind map is? Where you draw yourself in the middle, then you do do a mind map of what you really want to achieve and stick to your plan. That's the difference. You see, what we do is we divert and we're like, this person's doing it, this person's doing it. Look at people for inspiration, see what they're doing, see how you can do it better, but stick to your plan. And that's what I believe that a lot of people need to actually do. Just stick to their plan. And I think they will be okay. It's hard though. It's really hard because you see someone doing something crazy and you're trying to follow that and get the numbers and followers and stuff. But I stuck to my plan, and then I kind of diverted from which was news content to personal content, and I just stuck to personal content, and it's gone. I probably don't get as many followers or whatever, but I always say it's quality, not quantity as well. And it's easy for someone like me to say that, but when you get to that high level, then you realize, oh, the followers ain't really growing. Then what are you gonna do? Do you get what I mean? But once you got your core audience, you can you service them, and then it can be okay.
Do you still do social media consulting now?
Yes, yeah, I do.
So do you do it for personal people or companies?
I do it personal and companies. It depends who hollers and
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm thinking that there's probably a lot of companies that I know of that will probably want to hire you to just do talks internally as to how, because I think a lot of the times, especially because my background's in recruitment, so a lot of the times companies encourage you create your own personal brands, push your own personal brands.
Indeed.
So yeah.
I've done a few like Ernst & Young, Barclays. I do private talks, for companies. So if the company holler at me.
Okay, so you have time, yeah?
I've got time for that. If the money is right, if the money is good.
The money is right.
If the money is good, I got time. Always got time for that.
Okay, I just to kind of to wrap things up as well. Thank you, by the way. But to wrap things up as well, is there anything that you have coming out that you want people to be aware of, or is there anything that you want to leave our listeners and viewers with that will really resonate with them and potentially have a massive impact on their future?
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, all I say is, look, come and check out my stores in Box Park. I work with some amazing people, friends, family. But what I would leave is follow your path and your destiny. Earlier was saying to me, like, what gave you the confidence to wear a crown and a robe and all that? And I keep on kind of, even me, I think about it, what I got away with that. Do you know what I mean? And it's because I was just really confident, just doing what I wanted to do, like deep in your heart, what you want to do, and don't let no one kind of pivot you. And and it will be hard. It'll be ups and downs. People will laugh at you. Oh, and that's how it was for me. People point their fingers, laughing at me, and I guarantee now, every single brand who laughed at me and they've worked with, they've paid me. So for me, it's my consistency, my self-belief. I call myself like a UK Kanye West. Like I have a different kind of self-belief, without trying to be too arrogant and too cocky about it. And I treat people with respect, and I request that back, and that's what it is.
I love that. You're such a wholesome person.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So wholesome.
I
But
appreciate
thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
It's anytime. It's good.
And
good.
have a good rest of the day.
No, I appreciate that. Cool, man. Follow me on IG, King of Trainers.
And I'll add all of his links to socials, websites, books, all of it, so that everyone can get a hold of it. And remember to share this episode with any friends, subscribe, like, and I will see you all on the next Black Create Connect episode. Bye.